There have been some very big updates since my last USB Loader GX setup guide, which many of you guys found very helpful. So today I have an improved and even easier guide on how to play downloaded games on your Wii using USB Loader GX. This is a homebrew app that was created by WeDev, also known as Blackbox. Shout out to him for the awesome program. In this video, I'll be walking you through the following in depth. We'll be installing USB Loader GX, along with the channel forwarder that gives you a shortcut on your Wii menu. We'll be setting up games on your SD or USB storage, whether you have Windows, Mac, or Linux. We'll get game covers, install custom iOS, and more. So let's get right into it. Oh yeah, I'm also going to add a troubleshooting section at the very end of the video, just in case you run into any issues. So for this guide, you'll need a Homebrewed Wii, which just means that you have the Homebrew channel installed on your Wii menu. If you haven't done that already, I'll have a simple guide in the description to get you started before watching this video. Secondly, you'll need a way to store your Homebrew apps and games, whether it be all on an SD card or with a USB storage device. And I would recommend using reliable name brand sources for this process. You can use flash drives, but it is recommended to use an external hard drive instead to avoid the most common incompatibility issues. Hard drives tend to be much more compatible with this program. But in my experience, I have personally tested these two flash drives here, which I do have Amazon links in the description, along with everything else I use for your convenience. Or if you have one laying around already, you can check out this compatibility chart, also linked in the description, to see if the one you have works well or not. I will say the biggest issue most people have with setting up USB Loader GX is their USB drive isn't compatible. But I'll explain more about storage options later in the video. Lastly, you'll need a computer or any device so you can transfer files to your SD or USB drive. And in my case, my PC doesn't have an SD slot, so I also need this adapter. But with all of that out of the way, let's get modding. I'll have this Google Doc with everything we need on it linked in the description, so head on over there. And first thing to note is the disclaimer, this guide is for the Wii. Although the process is highly similar to the Wii U's Virtual Wii, the downloads and iOSs are different, so you'll have to find my other videos for that. And this is a very safe process with an extremely low risk of a brick. However, it's always a good idea to have a NAND backup just in case. And if you want to get that ready before following this guide, check out the link in the description for this video on the screen to install BootMe and Preloader. And on that note, if you do decide to follow this guide, you're following at your own risk, and I do suggest watching the video through once fully before starting, that way you have a better idea of the process. So the first step is to make sure our storage devices are formatted correctly. And for this guide, I'm going to be placing all of my Homebrew apps on an SD card, this 4GB Gigastone right here, and all of my games on this Maxzone hard drive. Now, if you want a cheaper option, this PNY 128GB, really good, gives you lots of storage, and is half the price of the HDD. But like I mentioned at the start, hard drives are recommended. And yes, if you only have one of these, you can use just that. You can place apps and games on the same one. You can use just an SD card or just a USB drive, but SDs are recommended because then you're able to back up your NAND and install BootMe. And yes, you can also use a micro SD card with an adapter as well. That works too. So I'll go ahead and plug those in. Got my hard drive in there, and there's my SD card. So to check what it's formatted to already, just right click, go to properties, and it should tell you the file system right here. My SD card is FAT32 already, so it's good to go. But if it was a different format, it would need to be formatted as FAT32. And you can actually do that through Windows only if your storage device is 32GB or less. So I'll quickly show you that here. So if you're going to be doing it through Windows, just right click on your drive, go to Format, and make sure it says FAT32, 32KB, and then Start. And here's your warning, if you have anything you don't want to lose on it, back it up now because formatting will wipe the device. Press OK, and it will format. But in the case of my hard drive, this is larger than 32GB, so we need to use a special program, and that is on the dock. So the first link, FAT32 format, we'll click on that. It'll take us here, just click on the image, and it will download GU format. If it says insecure download block, just press keep. I've used this probably 100 times at this point. You can exit that, open up your downloads, and run the exe file. And here is FAT32 format program. So going back into this PC, please take note of the drive letter. This is very, very important. So my hard drive is drive letter E. Yours will not be the same. Well, I mean, it could be the same, but not necessarily. It depends how many drives you have in your computer. But take note of that letter of the drive you want to format. Double check you don't have anything on there that you don't want to lose. Close your File Explorer, In the program, select the drive letter that you want to format. If you have it named like I do, you can also double check there. So we have our correct drive letter. I can't stress that enough. You do not want to format the wrong drive. Allocation unit size should be 32,000. And then once you're ready, just press start. This will be your warning. All data will be lost. Press OK. And in my case, it worked the first time. If it didn't work for you and you got an error, make sure all your File Explorer windows are closed and then try again. And if you still get an error, try restarting your computer, only going into this program first and then formatting, and it should work. But there we go, it's formatted as FAT32. Press close and I'll show you. Right click, properties, it's now FAT32 and we're good to go. And just a quick tip, the Homebrew channel can only read apps if it's on a device formatted as FAT32. Once all your drives are formatted as FAT32, we're ready to move on to the downloads. So to begin, we got the USB Loader GX app here, the GitHub, so go to this page here. This is the official release from WeDev, also known as Black Box. You can read more on it right here. And if you'd like to donate to the creator of USB Loader GX, there's his Ko-Fi right there. But we want the releases page here. Head on over, scroll down, and grab the USB Loader GX zip file. That will download, and we're good to go. We can exit out. Next up is CIOS WADs. So go to this Google Drive page. And if you've done anything with Wii modding in the past, this process is actually different and easier now. Custom iOS WADs for the Wii. Click download. And once those are downloading, you can exit out. Next up is the ULGX channel WAD. Go to this page here and click download. Exit out. And I will say that forwarder WAD is also on the ULGX GitHub as well. If you scroll down, it has the forwarder channel here. It's always good to have multiple sources just in case one of them becomes unreliable, which is a very low chance, but you never know. Next download is the WAD Manager. So head over to the Open Shop channel here and we'll grab Yom ModMe Edition. This is the recommended WAD Manager. So scroll down and where it says zip, we're gonna download that file. Good to go, we can exit out. And the last download here is Tiny Wii Backup Manager. So head to the GitHub here. It's created by MQ1. This is a program that's gonna allow us to set up our games properly. And lucky us, we got 4.7 in the releases. Let's head over there, scroll down, and there's tons of different options here. This program is great because it's available on Windows, Mac, and Linux, unlike the previous Wii Backup Manager, which was only on Windows. And this one also supports RVZ files. So in my case, I'm on Windows, so I'll grab the Windows x86 zip, and that will download. If you're on a different OS, grab yours. If your computer flags Tiny Wii Backup Manager, you may have to allow it through your firewall. Don't worry, it's safe. We can exit out, and that's everything we need for the downloads. Again, if you want to double check if your USB drive is compatible, here's the link as well. Just head over, Control F, and search maybe PNY and find your size. So let's look for the 128. As you can see, the one I mentioned earlier, it works. But now that we have those, we're ready to move on. So downloads on the left, and we'll set up our apps first. So I'm going to open up my SD card. And most of these are zip files, so you need an extraction software. I use 7-zip, it's free. We'll start off by opening up the USB Loader GX zip file. It should be an apps folder. We're gonna drag it onto our SD card. And by dragging it on, it is extracting it at the same time. But inside is the USB Loader GX app. Perfect. So now we can go back and delete the zip file. Next up is Yom ME. Open up that zip file and drag the apps folder onto the root. And it will merge with the apps folder already. So inside, we got both ready to go. Exit out and delete the zip. And now on your SD card or USB drive, whichever you're using, right click and create a new folder and call it WAD. Go inside, open up custom iOS WADs, go inside of this folder, and you should see 4 WADs. If in the future you see beta 4 or a different number, don't worry, just know that I updated them with the latest version. But we'll highlight all 4 of these and drag them in. Perfect. We can go back and delete the zip file. And we'll also put the ULGX forwarder WAD in there as well. Press yes if Windows prompts you. Perfect. We'll delete that. And if you're wondering about these custom iOS WADs, this is the exact same as installing them via D2X CIOS installer, which I've used in previous guides, but this is much easier. Shout out to AYEP for showing me. But back to the root, And now we're ready to set up our games. So we can close our SD card. So for Tiny Wii Backup Manager, right click, show more options, 7-zip, and extract to. Delete the zip file and go inside this folder. So this is the actual Tiny Wii Backup Manager application that will be installed to your computer, or as this file says, you can rename it to portable so that it doesn't install to your computer, but it's completely up to you. But I'll show you how to do it in case you prefer the portable version. So do dash portable, and there we go. Let's go ahead and run it. So first step here is to select our drive. So hit this icon, the Wii icon, and whatever drive you're going to be placing your games on, select it. So in my case, it's going to be my hard drive. Select on that and press open. So now to add your games, hit the plus icon and locate where you have them. I have some in this folder, so the formats that work with this program are WBFS, which is the main type, RVZ files work, as well as ISO files. If you find some as a zip file, it does have to be extracted. And unfortunately, I can't tell you where to get them, but it's not that hard, and make sure to check out the pinned comment. So you can do one at a time, or you can click one, hold shift, and go to the top one, and it will select all the games you have there. Press open, 5 games selected, and then press start conversion. And it will begin. So the more games you have, obviously the longer it'll take, but I'll meet you when they're done transferring over. In the meantime, if this guide is helping you out, I would appreciate it if you hit that like button. It helps me out, and it's free. So once they all get onto your device, they'll automatically download the covers. But now all the games should be transferred on. If I go into my File Explorer, into my hard drive, and it will automatically have apps and WBFS. This folder will have all of your games, and they will look like this, properly set up for USB Loader GX. If you go back, you now have an apps folder here, or if this is the device that you're having your apps on already, if you go inside, you'll see USB Loader GX, go inside, and you'll have images. Inside of this folder is all the covers that Tiny Wii Backup Manager downloaded. This is very useful if you don't have an internet connection on your Wii to download the covers using USB Loader GX. So if you're like me and you're only setting up your games on a hard drive, right click and cut the apps folder, go to your SD where you have your apps folder and paste. And that'll just move the downloaded images over to your SD card. So now they'll be in here, images, and ready to go. I will show you that Tiny Wii Backup Manager has a little bit more to offer. You can actually go to this icon here and you can download any homebrew app you want. You can find USB Loader GX, but I like to show the actual GitHub page so it gives you the latest version and any info you might need. But it's a really cool program that MQ1 has created, and you can even set up GameCube games through this. If you want a video on that, look in the description for my Nintendo setup. If you ever want to add more games in the future, just do it the exact same way. But we can exit out. So now my hard drive is all ready to go. The games are set up. I have my apps and my WAD folder set up. And now we're ready to head over to the Wii. I'll meet you over there. Before you insert your SD card or your USB drives, there's some specifics that you need to make sure you have right. So for SD cards, this small plastic tab on the left side needs to be pushed up. If it's down, it's in right locked mode and nothing will work on your Wii. So make sure that's pushed up before inserting your SD. And for your USB drive or hard drive, it must be plugged into this port here. If your Wii is standing up, it's the one on the right. If it's flat, then it's the bottom port. But there you go, I got both mine plugged in. Let's start it up. So let's load into the Homebrew channel, start it up. And if when you load into your Homebrew channel, you can't see your apps, press 1 on your Wiimote, and then make sure the proper device is selected. Press OK, and then they should pop up. And yes, you can pop the bubbles. The first step is going to be going into Yom ModMe Edition. So load that app up. And here, Yom ME is great because it tells you if you have preloader installed, which I have installed on this Wii previously. But we're just going to select our source device, which is where we have our WAD folder. In my case, they're on my SD, so I'll just press A on SD. Now these you can install one at a time by pressing the file. And then here you can install it, or if you ever want to uninstall, you just select uninstall using the D-pad. But I'm going to show you a trick. Press B to go back, and then just press the plus button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you just get all of them to install at once. So we got a plus on each WAD. Make sure your icon is on one of them and just press A and it will batch install them all. So press A to continue and it will begin. If you're wondering why we're doing this, these WADs, specifically this one, 249, now it's 250, they are what lets your Wii actually read the games on your SD or USB. And it'll finish off with the forwarder WAD, 5 titles succeeded and 0 failed in my case. If you had any failed, just go ahead and try again. So press A to continue. We can press the home button here. It will take us back to the Homebrew channel. And before going into USB Loader GX, just hit the home button and we'll go back to the system menu and I'll show you that you have your shortcut. And there it is, right on your home menu, which is very convenient. And now that you have this forwarder WAD, you can actually auto boot your Wii directly into USB Loader GX if that's something you're interested in. I'll have a video in the description if you want to set that up. But before you do that, we'll set up USB Loader GX first. But let's go in, load it up, and we'll get all of our games playing as they should. It will run through a few different options, initializing USB drives. If you have just an SD card in, it might give you an option to press A for SD mode. You should see loading resources, and now we're in USB Loader GX. So you'll see this page to start off. If your games are on your SD card, you can turn SD mode on by selecting this icon. And if when loading into USB Loader GX it froze on reinitializing devices, that means your USB drive is not compatible, unfortunately. So you have to try again with one that actually works. Again, there's a compatibility list on the dock you can double check before buying one. If your games did not show up, first thing to do is go to this icon here, Game Sources, and make sure Wii is checked. If it gave you the error USB drive not initialized, switching to channel list mode, then your USB drive is probably not compatible. Or you don't have it formatted as FAT32. Another reason could be that it's in the wrong port in your Wii. But now, if your game covers are not automatically appearing, that's okay. Just press the image here and it'll bring this option. You can also just press 1. That'll bring up this cover download option as well. You can download all of the covers or just 3D covers, etc. But you do need internet connection for this. Otherwise, as we saw before, we do have the covers on our SD card. But all you do is press OK, found missing images, press yes, and then it'll download all the covers. And there we go. If you get this, don't worry, you'll probably have all the covers now. You even get the Meet channel, Forecast, Homebrew channel as well. It's pretty cool. And if your game covers are not displayed and you don't have internet, go into your settings. We'll go over one to custom paths, and then we'll tell USB Loader GX where to find them. So go to 3D cover path. Make sure you have the proper device selected. Mine right now is SD, but the custom path should be in Apps, USB Loader GX, and Images. Press OK, and then go back, and then they should be displayed if they weren't already. If you don't want to see your NAND channels, also go to the game sources and you can uncheck NAND. Press OK, and now just have your games. And if you want to display your games differently, which I highly recommend, go to this icon here. You have this option, or like this, and if you have tons of games, it'll go around in a big circle, which is pretty cool. Or if you go to the next one, you can have a page that looks just like the Wii menu, but it has all your games that you can load up. I personally like this one a lot. It can look great even without covers. If you're unsure of anything on USB Loader GX, Blackbox added a really cool feature. You just hover over the icon and it will tell you. So set search filter. This option here lets you go directly to the Homebrew launcher. If you have a physical disk, you can use this plus icon here and you can actually dump it to your USB drive. To do that, you just press A on installing game, and you can also just insert the actual disk and it'll automatically detect it and give you the option to dump it. But just press yes. Make sure your disk is inserted. Unfortunately for me, my disk drive on this specific Wii does not work, so I can't do that, but hopefully you can. And that's another really cool thing about Homebrew is I can have a Wii without a working disk drive and still play any game I want. It's fantastic. But hopefully that gives you a good rundown on how USB Loader GX works on here. So now let's test a game. Start it up just like any other game, and you should see this screen first. If when you load your game it is a black screen and it's just frozen, then that's usually an issue with the actual game file itself, so you might have to find a different source. If when you loaded your game it sent you back to the Homebrew channel, then your custom IOSs are either not installed or they didn't install successfully, so you have to go back and redo that step. But in my case, my game is working, So I'll hit the home button, go to the Wii menu, and this will take us back to the Wii menu. Now, if when you're in a game, you hit the home button and you want that Wii menu button to take you back to USB Loader GX, we can change that. And I'll show you how to do that right now. So load back into USB Loader GX. Someone in the comments should tally up how many times I say USB Loader GX in this video. So if you want to do that, go into your settings, go into loader settings, and go all the way down until you see return to. Click on this one, and then just select UNEO USB Loader GX. And now when you're in a game, you hit that Wii menu button, it'll take you back to this page, or whichever display page you have on USB Loader GX. But there you go, guys. I hope I was able to help you set up your Wii games. If you're wondering what to do next, I added a section in the dock that you can get custom Wii channels on your Wii menu. You can auto boot, set up GCN games, Mario Kart Wii mods, and I have tons on my channel if you want to browse that as well. And if you did run into any issues, you can stick around for the troubleshooting section coming up after this, or feel free to join my Discord server, which has some really amazing helpers that might be able to help you out. You can also search past messages to see if anyone else had the same issue as you and get an answer quicker if no one's available for help. Just remember to be respectful. But with all that said, I hope you guys have a fantastic time playing your games, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay funky and happy modding. Welcome to the troubleshooting part of the video, and this is going to be located right under everything in the dock. I did add potential next videos if you want to watch those too, but troubleshooting here, I will mention if you are having issues, please double check that you have the proper format that we talked about in the video. And if you want a more in-depth storage FAQ, Wii.hacks.guide has a fantastic one. It's full of information. Even on tips for buying SD cards, you should be looking for name brand, no Chinese knockoffs like Sandion instead of SanDisk. So you can look more into that stuff here. And while it's rare, it could be worth checking that your partition style is MBR. This is typically with larger HDDs, but it's worth checking if you're having issues. So now let's check if your partition style is MBR. So go into your Windows Start, type in disk management, and create and format hard drive partitions. Here's the page. Again, make sure your drive letter is matching the actual drive letter. You can check in this PC, so I'm doing drive F. So click on your drive. Here it is down here. Right click, properties, go to volumes, and mine is MBR. If yours is GPT, that would potentially be causing your issue as well. And you can convert it. So if yours is GPT, you can try converting it to MBR. I'll put the instructions on the screen now, or I'll also have it linked in the troubleshooting part. If USB Loader GX freezes while loading on reinitializing devices, that means your USB device is most likely not compatible, sadly. Likewise, if it gets stuck on waiting for HDD, first make sure your USB storage device is plugged into port 0, which is, if the Wii is flat, it is the bottom port. If it's standing up, vertical, it is the port on the right hand side. Again, this could also be a compatibility issue as well. And continuing with that, if USB Loader GX loads as a white screen, then again, your USB storage device is not compatible. It's recommended to use a hard drive formatted as FAT32. Other formats have a lot more issues, so FAT32 is the recommended one. Or of course, you can try a different flash drive. Make sure you check the compatibility list, or I do have two that work for sure linked in my video. Those ones work for me, so I haven't really tried any other ones personally. If your games do not show up, double check that under select game sources, there is a check mark on the Wii box. Also, for the actual game files, they must be WBFS format for USB Loader GX. If you have ISO files or RVZ files, those only work if they're converted to WBFS using Tiny Wii Backup Manager like we did in the video. If you need help, check out the Discord server. If it's not the format, make sure your USB storage device is FAT32 as mentioned earlier. And lastly, again, your USB device may not be compatible. I'm telling you guys, that is the most common issue with USB Loader GX. It's unfortunate that that's the reality, but it's just the way it is. If you start a game and it sends you back to the Homebrew channel, that means your custom IOSs are not installed correctly or at all. Go back to that section and make sure you install those custom iOS WADs using Yom Mod Me Edition. And if you did that already, try reinstalling them and make sure that they are installed successfully. If your games load into a black screen, that is usually a problem with the actual game file itself. So I would suggest using a different download source for WBFS files. And if you're having an issue that wasn't in this troubleshooting section, feel free to join my Discord server. There's helpers there that can give you a hand. Just make sure to treat them with respect, and you can always search previous messages for the issues that you're having, as we have had tons of people come in for help. But hopefully this video helped you get everything set up, and I'll see you on the next guide. Stay funky and happy modding, guys.